When, for example, you or anybody else would have an urge to reach out, they feel that.
Welcome, everybody, to Spirituality, the talk show where longtime practitioners dish reality on their spiritual experiences. And I am so pleased to have with me today Daniela, who is the host of D&K Spiritual Miracles podcast. Welcome. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me. It's nice being on your show. You know, there's lots of spirituality and lots of stories, and my own began when I was, I think, 27. My grandmother died. Before she did die, I told her, please come to me in my dreams because I want to know how it is after, when you pass over. When she passed away, the third day, I believe, all of a sudden when I fall asleep, I was dreaming, and then I was all of a sudden out. I was somewhere next to her and where we grew up. And so I saw her right next to me. And then she said, come on, I show you. And I'm like, wow, this is interesting. And it felt like a dream, but I know it was so real. So she showed me that she's hiding behind the door where we grew up, because she's like, now there's other people living in the house and she is afraid to be seen. And she showed me then all of a sudden we weren't from the house we grew up in, the other house my grandmother lived before she died. So she said, look, I'm watching your grandfather because he's snoring, and I watch him how he sleeps. And then she showed me this. I'm like, wow, this, like, you can be in every, like, here and there in no time. So then we went in the hallway and I stood next to her and I said, wow, I mean, it's so real. I stand right here next to you. I cannot believe this. You are dead. And she said, no, I'm not dead. My body wasn't working anymore, but my brain is still alive. And then she showed me all the way to the ceiling. She said, look up, they're waiting on me, so I have to go now. And I look up, and there was the ceiling, there was gone. Like, there wasn't any ceiling anymore. It was like a light, like it was moving and very vibrant. And I looked at it, I said, wow, you can feel their energy. And my grandmother stood there. She said she has to go back there. And I looked at that and I looked at her. I said, yes, you know what? And I have to go back down. And so she left somehow, but I couldn't see that one. I just fell back into my body, fell out of bed. And I wrote it down. It was 4:30 or 5 a.m. I could not believe it. And then a few years later, I was again in my bed, and then she came. All of a sudden, I was in, like it said in the Bible, the mansion they talk about. So it was like many rooms, and it was all white. And she walked with me, and there was a room, like a door, and then she left and me on the door, and I went into the door, and there was a playroom where all toys were, like a nice rocking horse. And then all of a sudden I saw this doll. And then I looked at the doll, and then the doll looked at me and said, you are going to be my mom in the future. I said, whoa, wow, this is insane. How can that be happening?
Mm-hmm.
And in this moment, I think I had like a shock, and I left and I went right back into my body. I woke up, and 6 years later, that was my daughter, Amy. And those eyes and that face, like, it just was her. That is amazing to me. So they watch us from above and they know everything.
I love that miracles can happen just to let you know everything is okay or to let you know about an upcoming event. The angels, guides, our loved ones are there for us through the things that are just very specifically our lives. I know that you do podcasts when you talk to other people. Have you found that that's pretty consistently, like when people experience things like this, that it's very personal what comes through for people.
So I'm a medium. I do also, or did in the past, a lot of readings.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say 95% the readings were absolutely incredible. You know, there's always people that are not that open and you try to read them and it doesn't work. But most of the part, it's amazing. So I had a few readings and like they come through, like I hear those voices from those loved ones, and I get right away messages. They already know the minute you want to contact, like let's say I want to contact my grandmother, and I ask a medium to do so. Because I wanted to do it one day, I haven't heard from her in a while, and I said, "Hey, it would be fun to contact a medium." And then my grandmother came through saying in my head, like loudly saying, "Why do you want to contact me? I'm still here." Like this was so amazing. But I'm a medium as well. So when people want to have a reading, like there was a elderly woman, she does still lives. She wanted a reading from me. I never knew her very much. I have this reading. She comes and right away the day before the because she wanted to know about her granddaughter that passed tragically away, and I went to bed and she kept talking and talking, the one who died, that she wanna know about it. And I said, "You have to stop, I have to go to bed now." I was somehow tired that day, but the next day all the information was still there, and but whatever came through was absolutely amazing.
Do you think that there is like a special ability to being a medium? Or do you think that if more people actually just believed and were open-minded and could turn on their receivers, that more people would be able to actually receive those types of personal guidances and contacts?
Yeah, I think first off, you have to be a believer and you have to be open. Like, I was like, it started when I was 17 and I just started to read eyes. And with reading eyes, that was absolutely incredible. I had a few friends over with my sister, like the one guy next to me. I looked at his eyes and I said, "Wow, your dad passed away, and he used to be in a wheelchair." So, first off, I never knew anything about the dad, never knew that he had one that passed away, nothing. I said, "So he passed away, and he was in a wheelchair, but before he died, he showed you how to treat women." I saw those pictures, like I saw how he was communicating. He told me it was more personal, to be honest. It was more how to treat women when it comes to love and stuff, and in the bedroom and stuff. It was so funny because it was in German so long time ago, and I told him, and he's like, "Wow, yeah, that's actually totally true." And then he said, "Tell my son I can walk again." And so I did. And it was just a nice message. Yeah, it started then. I just looked at the eyes and started to focus. And from there on, I also grew up in a very haunted house. But I don't think that has anything to do with. You just have to be open.
Yeah,
Uh,
be willing to
yeah,
receive whatever you get there.
exactly. Also, when my grandmother died already, so it's me, my twin sister, and another sister, and she's 6 years older, and my other sister, and that was the favorite child of our grandmother. And when my grandmother passed away, she what before she passed, she always gave her money, not us but her, always gave her money. And so one day she passed away, and I was in my sister's house, and I heard my grandmother saying, "Give her $10. You get it back from me." I'm like, "That's weird." So, it was my last $10. I don't know how she could know, but she could know somehow, of course, because she's a spiritual being. So my $10, I thought, I really don't want to give that to her because I was struggling myself. I was very young, and every penny helps, but I said, okay, I'm going to do it. So I gave her the $10. She, of course, thought nothing of it. And then I went to my other sister, to my twin sister, and she had a boyfriend. He came home from work, and while he was just like, we were all in the hallway, me and my sister talking a little, he pulled out his wallet. I never said a word. And he gave me $10 and he said, have the $10. And he never did that before or after. So that is insane.
Yeah. It's incredible how fast sometimes things like that can come back around, how fast the energy moves, and especially when somebody is like tuned in and just pulls out their wallet and gives you $10. You kind of
Yeah,
wonder what that was like on their end. I was sitting at
yeah.
an airport once waiting for my husband to come pick up the kids and I from flying back in, and was sitting there kind of feeling sad to myself because all these people were showing up with flowers, like giving their person coming in all these flowers. And I was like, how nice to have somebody picking you up, bring you flowers to welcome you back. That sounds nice. You know what I mean? I want flowers. And less than 13 seconds later, some lady who was in a car down the ways got out of her car and walked over and handed me flowers out of her flower bundle. And it was like,
Wow. Yeah, that's
it's
amazing.
incredible how
That is
fast the
good.
energy actually just starts
Yes.
to manifest things and people become cooperative. It's really fun.
That is amazing.
Let me ask you,
Yeah.
from your perspective as somebody who's been doing this for a long time, what advice would you give to people out there, anyone out there who's looking at or really wanting to begin to develop their senses, their abilities along those kinds of lines?
I would just practice by people who have lost loved ones, or and just look in their eyes, focus on the eyes, because the eyes are like a book, and then you pick up certain things, and it takes maybe a while for some. And just, I never did any meditation, to be honest. People always say meditate and do yoga. I do none of it. Like, it's just there. I also helped a ghost, which is insane. I helped a ghost that's stuck in between. Like, he was very afraid to go to the, like, move to the light. I was in bed, and all of a sudden I stand next to him. And he's saying, I treated my wife so poorly and very bad. He showed me pictures of that he hit her in the face. I saw that. And then he said, I have to make this good again. I have to make this up. And I want you to tell her that I'm sorry and I apologize for that, how I have been treating her. You also need to tell, he said, you need to tell your mom to move in that house. It's 100-year-old house. It's also spooky and it's very old, like a castle almost. Like, my mother is always like that, piggy, and not really like, she had her own place, to say. So for him to say, tell your mom to move in with my wife because she's old and she says she wants to end her life. That's basically what the message was. So in order to save that from happening, my mom has to move in and kind of be there, watch out for her and give her the company. He said it will happen if I say that. So I told my mother about it. I said, okay, he came into my dreams. And I have to tell you that you have to come to that old lady. You visit her, and I come with you, and I tell from him that he apologizes. Of course, she didn't really understand, and she was like, what is this nonsense, maybe, but I spoke it out. I said, I think your husband really apologized for the way he treated you. And also, he loves you and stuff. But then my mother was thinking about it, and she talked to the woman. I was there too, and she said, the old lady said, yeah, I don't want to live anymore. I don't see any purpose. And my mother has not believed in any of it, because she said, how can not gonna give up on her life now, and she's gonna live and all that. It's still a miracle for me, because that house, she is freezing cold in the winter. There's no hot water or nothing running. It's weird, like it's a very old house. So, but she cared for this old lady until that old lady died, and it saved her also the rent money, and it saved the old lady from dying on a broken heart. I This was a message from that guy that was a miracle, because I think he know what he did wrong and he wanted me to fix it for him, and I did. Yeah.
That's incredible. It's
Yeah.
interesting the way that perspectives and personalities of people almost change. Like once they pass over, it's like being able to see your life from a broader perspective. So somebody who was a mean or grumpy person, or even a poor husband, a violent person
Yeah.
in their physical life, once they cross over, it's like
They
being
see
able
it.
to see all of that, seeing the ramifications of everything that you did as that living person. And I think it's really interesting and neat to want to immediately give back or put some positive energy back into the lives of people that you affected.
Yeah, I hope he moves on now. Like, it's been a while for him. And the wife too. I mean, his old wife is incredible. My mother really took care of her. It's absolutely amazing.
Do you find when you're interacting with souls that have moved on that many of them have things that they want you to do or say or carry out for loved ones, or are many of them at peace and just happy? Like what do you find is the typical?
I find that many definitely are in a good place in peace, but they feel when, for example, you or anybody else would have a urge to reach out, they feel that they deeply. They feel, hey, like, and then they know that I can communicate and give those messages through. And so there was one man that I didn't know, and I was putting out on Facebook free medium readings, and it was a wonderful. I was scared for my life, like, oh my god, I can't mess this up. I want to prove if I'm a good medium or not. I never done it over the phone, and I was like, let's do this, because I wanted to see how good I am and also help others.
Mm-hmm.
So this guy contacted me, and it was absolutely incredible. So he picked up the phone. I called him. I said, "Listen, I never did this over the phone. I'm just curious myself how this goes." But he lost an 11-year-old son. He came through, and I said, look, I see all these pictures in my head. So do you live close by a water? Because your son says you always went fishing with him right where your house is, not far. And he said, yes, I actually did. We went there all the time fishing, and that was only me and him, the both of their times. And then I say to him, I, I say, you wear his shoes right now? He's like, yes, I do. So all these other things that I confirmed was there, like it was incredible. He also told me that you will move from the house because of all these memories with him, so you will wanna move out. But I didn't say that, so he just started saying, yeah, we will move out. I'm like, wow, I should have said it, but I didn't. But there was other lots of other messages been said that were 100% correct, and it was amazing. That 11-year-old, like, he's so vibrant, and it's amazing. He's still like alive. It's just incredible. But he needed to come through for the grieving parents.
Do you feel like you were called to do that sort of work, to act as a medium, to be a voice to help people who can't hear themselves from their relatives?
Yeah, I think it's been definitely something useful. And actually, I love helping no matter in what form, you know. And that is definitely something I absolutely love to do. And yeah, I just it's been a journey. If I would have more money, I could do more, like, you know, there's the other mediums, they have all those websites and all these, but building a website, you know, costs here and there a lot of money. So I just start with sometimes doing some readings on Facebook. People ask, but I have, it's all free, you know. I never charged anything. Yeah, and I think it's a good thing to help without asking for money all the time, because people need, in a way, like, they just want to be sure that the people are real, that they, you know, they don't want to just get your money and say something. So if, like, for me, I'm real, I don't take money, I just do it because I love to help both sides, the one who are in heaven and the one who are on earth. So, and for me, it's been a good thing, a good deed.
Absolutely. If do
Yeah.
you have a website? I know you said you had a YouTube channel. Do you want to let people know really fast where they can find you if they're interested in
Um,
reaching out?
yes, the way they can find me, it's heavenly at dkspiritualmiracles.com. Post this quick here, if you can see this.
Yeah. I'll
I
link it
don't
in the
know.
description box
Okay, yeah.
too for people who
Yeah,
want to be able to
thank you.
follow the link and go
Yeah,
check it out.
yeah. Thank you.
For
I
sure.
appreciate you and thank you for having me today.
Oh, thank you so much for coming. I love hearing about it and I appreciate you. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining
Mm.
us. Follow the link, check out the website, like, subscribe, all that fun stuff, and we will see you guys later.
Okay, bye.